beginning of August 26, 1918, in White Springs, West Virginia. Katherine Johnson has been a genius with great math talent since she was young. So she entered West Virginia University, only 13 years old, with her outstanding math talents. And she completed all the math courses taught at the university when she was only a sophomore in the university. Later, her professor at the time, cherishing her talents, opened a course called Analytic Geometry for her. The analytic geometry she learned at the time became an important knowledge when Katherine entered NASA and calculated the flight track of a spacecraft. And then Katherine graduated the university with major in mathematics and French. After she graduated, she wanted to work as a math researcher, but no one employed her because she was a woman and black. Instead, Katherine entered a black public school teacher in Marion, Virginia. Katherine, who married James Francis Garble, a chemistry teacher, started studying higher mathematics at West Virginia Graduate School in 1940. However, when she soon became pregnant, she returned to Marion with her husband, and she spent about 10 years childcare and teaching profession. And in 1952, she heard that she was recruiting black female mathematicians at Langley Center in NASA. Langley Center is the oldest aerospace center established in 1917 by the National Aviation Advisory Committee, NACA. NACA is the predecessor of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA today. The center started hiring white female mathematicians to relieve male engineers who had to handle a huge amount of numbers by their hands since 1935. After a while, hundreds of women came to work there. Unlike male scientists, females were classified semi-expert and got paid lower than men who did the same work. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration also hires black female cashiers. And Katherine started working joined the department with only black females. After that, she sent to the F4D, where Langley's huge hangar is located. She, the only black woman there, helped calculate the aerodynamics of the aircraft. Katherine's excellent mathematical ability immediately shone. The men there with graduate degrees were forgetting everything they had learned, but she remembered everything. And then in 1956, Katherine lost her husband to brain cancer. Katherine, who was 38, had to take care of her 3 children alone. In 1959, she remarried James Johnson, an army captain. Her official name became Katherine Johnson from that time on. In 1960, NASA was under great pressure because of Soviet spaceman launch technology. Such great pressure fell into F4D, where Katherine works. F4D had to do various mathematical calculations related to it, and Katherine's assignment was orbital calculation. In order for NASA to launch a manned spacecraft, it had to know where the launch conditions were, develop a large screen to see the status of the flight, and to decide where to land. Throughout the entire process, Katherine's perfect calculation was essential. The early computer called IBM, developed at the time, were unable to implement such solution using analytical geometry. So the main spacecraft flight path was entirely dependent on hard calculations. Katherine analyzed the free 7 orbital Alan Shepard, the first astronaut in the US. Alan Shepard flew out of the atmosphere for the first time as an American on May 5th, 1961, a month later than Soviet. And in February 1962, John Glenn is the first American to orbit the Earth. When NASA started using the electronic computer, John Glenn's famous encoding remains. that Katherine Johnson said he can go on a flight if she calculated it herself in mathematics, rather than Ivy and computer calculated it by itself. Katherine analyzed the friendship number 7's orbit that Jonglan took 62 with her perfect math skills. Katherine said she knew better than anyone else that the fate of astronauts and satellites was over with just one small missing number. So she always had to be nervous when launching them. Also, from the lunar landing program Apollo plan to the subsequent space shuttle program, Katherine was integral part of the United States space development of space. Katherine published more than 20 technical papers. She was one of the rare women who published technical papers horizontally with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. After retiring from the NASA, she stressed the need to strengthen math education by visiting various gatherings and schools. In 2015, President Barack Obama awarded Johnson the Medal of Freedom, the highest award for his contribution to space development. Congress also awarded the gold medal, the highest medal in Congress. In honor of Katherine's achievements, NASA has opened the Katherine Johnson Calculation Laboratory in Rochester Langley Research Center, which is responsible for various orbital calculations necessary for manned space exploration planes such as Mars and the Moon. It was the first time NASA has named the research facility after a black woman instead of a white man. Katherine departed this life at the age of 101. February 24, 2020, Katherine Johnson's 1-century resume was a recovered life. Therefore, there's no race in genius, no man or woman in strength, and no limit in courage.